Last week I was down at Krazy Horse London again. It's an awesome shop that I'd recommend checking out if you're ever in the area. I recently covered their Fantic Caballero 500 Scrambler, and there's a link to that video in the description. But this time, Paul wheeled out their Indian Scout 60 with Street Hooligan kit. It's such an awesome bike that also sounds ridiculously epic, so I had to make a video about it. This kit essentially turns the standard Scout, Scout Bobber or Scout 60 into a flat track race bike for the road. Keep in mind that the standard Scout puts out a peak of 100 horsepower and the slightly smaller capacity Scout 60 will do 78 horsepower, so they've already got a bit more grunt than your average cruiser. Inspiration for this kit came from both the Roland Sands Indian Hooligan race bike as well as Krazy Horse's own forays into flat track racing. They provide a bike for Lee Kirkpatrick in the DTRA Hooligan race series, as well as sponsoring Leah Toglove. The legitimate race bikes have a few additions like Olin shocks with a modified mounting, chain conversion and different bars and risers, but essentially the Hooligan kit is as close as you can get to those bikes while still getting through an MOT. So here are all the changes you get as part of the kit. Starting at the front end of the bike, the wheels are swapped out for spoked 19 inches with Talon billet hubs, which are a thing of beauty in their own right, laced onto Hagen rims. Combined with the Maxxis DTR1 tyres, they totally transform the look of the bike. The front mudguard is removed as you would expect on a tracker, and Krazy Horse's fork brace fitted to maintain rigidity at the front end. Moving up the bike, this particular example and demo bike keeps the original Scout 60 headlamp, which I actually think looks spot on given that it's small and simple. There's an additional option for a number board with twin LEDs, but I think I quite like the more traditional lamp. The bike also keeps the stock clock, risers and bars. The bars aren't too far off what you'd expect on a tracker, being wide and swept back, and Paul tells me that swapping out the bars on the Scout can be slightly tricky because they have an unusual taper. So changing them would be a lot of hassle and costly to the customer, with little benefit in terms of looks or handling. The standard Scout and Bobber both have forward position foot pegs, so Krazy Horse have these mid-position mounts and grippy looking pegs made for this model. The stock gear shifter, brake pedal and reservoir are retained. Possibly the defining feature of the bike is the seat unit. Included in the kit comes a subframe and seat pan, tracker style seat unit, seat pad, plate hanger, tail light and indicators. This suits the look of the bike perfectly to me, and I love how the brake light is hidden away under the tail. And the tiny indicators fit in nicely too. The seat unit is painted by Krazy Horse to match the tank colour of choice, and this silver bike looks particularly good to me. I had a quick sit on the bike, and the seat pad obviously doesn't give quite as much cushioning as the standard bike, but it is called a Street Hooligan after all. The seat pan houses all of the usual gubbins like a battery and fuse box, but the Krazy Horse kit also includes a Dynajet Power Vision CX. This performance tuner and data monitor interfaces with the ECU to change the power delivery. Paul described it to me as not particularly a top-end boost, but the way that the power is delivered through the low and mid-range is more aggressive. Hopefully I'll be down at Krazy Horse London again soon to test it out for myself. You can see the standard shocks are being retained, but fully adjustable Olins with piggyback reservoirs and Olins cartridges for the forks are available as an extra to this kit. But I think I've saved the best for last. The 2-in-1 exhaust on this bike is a thing of beauty and really sets the overall tracker look off too. These are custom made for Krazy Horse and they sound absolutely incredible and super loud. But I wanted to get some footage of the stock bike for contrast, so Paul started up this Scout Bobber for me, but this particular bike is fitted with Jekyll and Hyde pipes, which have an electronic valve in the mufflers which can be controlled from a button on the bars to switch between quiet and a bit more beefy. So for your reference, the quiet mode on the Jekyll and Hyde pipes is pretty much similar to the stock exhaust. That's such a cool idea, especially for evading a fine, passing your MOT, or keeping the neighbours sweep, or even saving your ears on a long motorway ride. Krazy Horse sell these pipes too, but the Hooligan pipes, to me, sound the best, so here they are. Such an incredible sound, and this is on the slightly smaller motor of the Scout 60. This kit's available for £4,995 plus fitting and paint, which will be around £695. It's a good chunk of money on top of buying a new bike, but when you consider what you get is wheels, tyres, exhaust, a whole new seat unit, electronic tuner and more, it's a pretty special bike. Which did you guys prefer, the 2-in-1 or the Jekyll and Hyde mufflers? Let me know what you think of this build in the comments below. And if you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe and I'll catch you next time.
Forever's never gone so fast.